Emisión.net.
Hello again and welcome to Letter from England, broadcasting for the Spanish Evangelical Alliance and AC Press. What is the profile of the average Catholic priest today in Spain? A figure so central for so long, and yet now rather marginalized in Spanish society. Still perhaps venerated by some, vilified by others. Today, more likely, is simply to be ignored by the majority. Well, a survey of priests suggests they are lonely but contented. There are fewer and fewer, of course, coming through, at least from the seminaries in Spain, and more the Catholic Church is having to look abroad to cover its needs. But today's priest is one who believes that celibacy should be optional and that the Catholic Church should be self-financing. One who in politics stands on the centre-right and who in domestic life suffers from loneliness. The first major survey of Catholic priests since 1969 has found that in general they confess to no longer living like priests, but remain proud of their vocation. 3 out of 4 do not dress in clerical garb, just over half believe celibacy should be optional, and almost 60% are against the idea of women priests. An interesting mix of the traditional and perhaps more modern ideas. The results were presented to the press by Luis Fernando Vilchez, a university lecturer in Madrid who conducted the survey for the magazine 21 RS. Despite a popular view, most priests think they are valued and loved by people, and this is strengthened by the fact that virtually all those interviewed said they would be priests if they could live their lives all over again. They feel called by God, and 2 of the leading factors in their decision to become priests were a Christian upbringing and the desire to serve others. In general, priests are satisfied with what they are and with what they do. Their greatest joy, they say, is to have a job which is worthwhile and a calling of which they are convinced, as well as seeing the good that they can do to many people. Priests generally live simply, thus contradicting the traditional saying that to live like a priest is to live it up. As one said, today a priest's income does not allow him many luxuries, although 70% of those interviewed said they had enough and could live without financial difficulties. What are their major problems? Well, priests identified them as loneliness and the lack of friendship and good relationships. Most of them use prayer and meditation to develop their spiritual lives, followed by Bible reading. However, they're divided on their opinion of the Vatican, with 2/3 saying that Vatican II has not really established itself in the Church. Progressive ideas perhaps still lacking. Finally, the survey discovered that priests are saddened by the bad public image their Church has, and that it should be self-financing in order to be freer of state involvement. Well, evangelicals would certainly sympathize with that. Perhaps, too, to some degree, the loneliness suffered in the ministry, though, of course, evangelicals have the great advantage of being able to marry. What does the future hold for the Catholic Church and for its priests in Spain? Well, the crisis in the number of vocations continues. There simply aren't enough to go round. Rural parishes, more and more, are becoming combined, and a greater role for lay people seems inevitable. In the longer term, one suspects that many local parish churches will struggle to survive, and perhaps the catechumenal groups are the future, for the live church at least, within Roman Catholicism in Spain. Evangelicals too face many of the same problems. A shortage of ministers, churches to some degree hidebound by tradition, less so perhaps than their Catholic counterparts, and also the need to reach out to the communities around them and show the relevance of their message rather than remaining in obscurity, ignored by the vast majority of the population. Well, thank you for listening to Letter from England broadcasting each week at emission.net. Goodbye for now.
Emisión.net